From mummies with gold-plated tongues to a pyramid built for a previously unknown queen, here are 10 spectacular discoveries about ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt has many secrets to tell, and in 2022, archaeologists made some fascinating findings, including the tomb of a previously unknown queen, a Falcon shrine with a cryptic message, and a massive tunnel beneath the temple. Here are some of the most amazing discoveries from ancient Egypt. Lifelike mummy portraits. While excavating a necropolis in the ancient Egyptian city of Philadelphia, archaeologists unearthed 2 complete mummy portraits as well as multiple incomplete portraits of people buried in the cemetery. Researchers think the deceased were likely middle class or elite, since back then it would have been costly to commission custom paintings of their likenesses. Because of looting, it's also incredibly rare for archaeologists to find mummy portraits, with the last recorded examples discovered in the 1880s. Temple dedicated to the deity Zeus-Kasios. Archaeologists at the Tel El Farama site on the Sinai Peninsula uncovered the remains of a temple dedicated to Zeus-Kasios, a deity who was a cross between Zeus and the weather god Kasios. Researchers discovered the temple after noticing sections of 2 pink granite columns poking out of the ground, which they believe once supported the temple's front gate and likely collapsed in ancient times during a massive earthquake. Mummies with gold tongues. During the Greco-Roman period, it wasn't uncommon for mummies to be buried with gold tongues. Ancient Egyptians believed that doing so would help transform the deceased into divine beings in the afterlife. A team of archaeologists found several examples of this special burial practice at a dig site in an ancient cemetery near Quesna, just north of Cairo. The burials also contain a multitude of grave goods, such as necklaces, pottery, and gold scarabs. Falcon shrine and a cryptic message about boiling heads. Archaeologists stumbled upon a real head-scratcher after discovering a 1,700-year-old shrine featuring 15 headless falcons on a pedestal and a stone monument depicting 2 unknown gods in Berenik, a port on the Red Sea. Found next to the pedestal was an iron harpoon, but what really dumbfounded researchers was the inscription in Greek they spotted in one of the shrine's back rooms, which read, "It is improper to boil a head in here." Gold ring featuring the likeness of the god of fun. Here's further proof that even ancient Egyptians like to have a good time. While exploring a burial site in Akhetaten, modern-day Amarna, a city south of Cairo, archaeologists found a treasure trove of gold artifacts, including a necklace and 3 rings. One piece of jewelry stood out for its engraving of Bes, also known as the god of fun. Ancient images of the fun-loving deity can be found throughout Egypt. He is often depicted as a dwarf who not only enjoyed playing music and partying, but also protected women during childbirth. Protective childbirth tattoos. Before giving birth, some ancient Egyptian women would get tattoos as a form of protection during childbirth. Archaeologists discovered 6 examples of this practice while studying mummies buried at Deir el-Medina, an archaeological site located along the banks of the Nile River. Finding ancient tattoos is a rarity, since the skin would need to be preserved, and archaeologists make it a practice to not unwrap mummies. However, in this case, portions of the bodies were exposed, including the lower back of a woman whose ancient ink included black lines and a depiction of Bes, a deity that protected women during childbirth. Vast water tunnel. Archaeologists discovered a 4,281-foot-long, 1,305 meters tunnel beneath the temple in Tapazeres Magna, an ancient city located west of Alexandria, Egypt. It's thought that, at one time, the massive tunnel was used to transport water to citizens and is an exact replica of the Eupalinos tunnel on the Greek island of Samos, which is considered an engineering marvel. Birds in an Egyptian masterpiece. A painting containing birds both in flight and perched next to a marsh is so detailed that modern-day researchers used a copy of it to name the exact species painted on the 3,300-year-old artwork. Archaeologists found the masterpiece a century ago on the walls of a palace at the ancient Egyptian capital of Amarna, but it wasn't until recently that researchers identified the species depicted in the work, including a pied kingfisher, Sorel rudis, a red-backed shrike, Lanius colurio, and a white wagtail, Motacilla alba. New understanding of mummification. It's long been believed that mummification was meant to preserve the dead. It turns out that notion is dead wrong. It's long been believed that ancient Egyptians used mummification as a way to preserve a body after death. However, an upcoming museum exhibition indicates that was never the case, and instead the elaborate burial technique was actually a way to guide the deceased toward divinity. So how exactly did this misconception flourish for so long? Price said the Western-led idea began with Victorian researchers who wrongly determined that ancient Egyptians were preserving their dead in a similar fashion as one would preserve fish. Their reasoning? Both processes contain a similar ingredient, salt. Researchers from the University of Manchester's Manchester Museum in England are highlighting the common misconception as part of preparations for an exhibition called Golden Mummies of Egypt that opens early next year. This new understanding about mummification's intended purpose essentially upends much of what is taught to students about mummies. It's a big 180. Campbell Price, the museum's curator of Egypt and Sudan, told Live Science archaeologists completely flipped the script on what's taught in school about mummification. Ancient Egyptians used the burial practice not to preserve the bodies of the deceased, but as a way to guide them toward divinity. The new understanding, which archaeologists call a complete 180, is the focus of an exhibition called Golden Mummies of Egypt, which opens in early 2023 at the University of Manchester's Manchester Museum in England. Tomb of an Unknown Queen. On the 100th anniversary of the discovery of King Tut's tomb, a group of archaeologists unearthed the tomb of a previously unknown royal, Queen Neith. The discovery was made at Saqqara, an archaeological site in Giza, and is the first recorded mention of her in the archaeological record. In addition to the tomb, researchers found numerous coffins and mummies, some of which belonged to King Tut's closest generals and advisors. What do you guys think of the ancient Egyptian discoveries? Do you have discoveries that we did not mention? Please let us know in the comments below. And most importantly, if you wish to be updated about more history viral videos, you should consider subscribing to our channel and pressing the bell icon to never miss a video of History Viral. Also, thank you for watching the videos, and we will see you in the next video.